Guys, so welcome to part one of my four-part series I made of a little trip I did in July towards the garden route of South Africa. So I arrived in Wilderness. Now looking up to the north there, you can see those beautiful Outeniqua mountains, and looking over towards the east, look at that sunrise. So this is where the adventure started. In Wilderness, I was meeting up with Lance. Now he rides a Yamaha T7 and I ride a Yamaha XT660Z. From George to Knysna, you have the 7 passes road. That is then immediately 7 mountain passes you can tick off. And then arriving in Knysna, you'll then head north to the Prince Alfred Pass. This is where we're at now. While I was flying the drone, I heard the bonies coming up the hill, so I just decided to record that as well. Now this guy actually stopped and we had a good chat. They were making their way up to a nice sunset spot, but me and Lance, we were also going up to a sunset spot. Now the one we are doing is then called the Spitskop. Here you can see it. It truly is a special place with a full panoramic view. I do cover this much better in part 3. So for the evening's accommodation, we stopped at Angie's G-Spot, a little haven in the middle of the mountains. Now they offer bedded and tented accommodation, but we were on a little Moto camping trip, so we camped for the evening. It was very cold, so winter time is when you see these aloe plants flowering, those beautiful flowers, a medicinal plant. And the little campsite you can see there on the grass patch. So it did get pretty cold that evening. The next morning, nice and sunny. The Boerboel dog you see there is a very popular dog for protection. And then that's my baby girl, Kaimani. So heading north that morning, we got to the Poort Pass. It's called the Poort, there you can see the waterfall. And then this road connects up to the ROCKFOX. Now we were just going north, and all of these shots were taken on that section. So you can see a nice old death drop. I would not want to do this in foul weather, but we were very lucky to have some beautiful days for this trip. And obviously I have to stop for a coffee, so we got some good coffee. Now Jeffreys Bay is then a famous surfing town. This is where we stayed for the evening. Next morning we made our way to the Baviaanskloof, a very famous one. Entering from the east, we went over towards the west. Look at Lance, so happy. How can you not be? But Baviaanskloof is a very wet one, so you have to watch out for if it's been raining a lot in the season. Luckily we had the sunny days. So here I'm crossing over the very famous Smitskraal crossing. It's a very long marble crossing here. Relentless. So your boots are definitely wet on this one. And then to make matters even interesting is there are Cape buffalo that roam the area. I had to take a little breather. So basically just don't hold on to the handlebars too hard and just choose that line. You're gonna get wet, but don't put the baby down. Never put her down. Coming through this one little patch here of water, I decided on the spot I'm going to quickly just stop here and then take a shot of Lance. So here's me just pulling over, whipping out that cell phone and getting that quick shot of Lance coming through. Your boots are so wet by then you don't care anymore. It can't get more wet than that. I recommend newspaper, but in these scenarios you don't have newspaper, so they are going to be wet. So it's just water crossing upon water crossing, but we were just making our way over to our accommodation for the evening, which is then known as Durban. So we just had to get through all these patches, perfect for those summer days, but when it's nice and cold it can get a little bit wet. This was pretty cold by now because it was getting towards the end of the day. You can see just beautiful, look at that, just so special, so special. These motorcycles just take you on the most special adventures. For that evening we stayed at Durbankloof, the campsite. I'm having here a first ascent lunar tent, 2.5 kilograms, and Lance is using a one-man lunar. So I prefer the 2-man tent because you can put your gear inside with you. And then those vervet monkeys you see in the back there, local sneaky monkeys, you have to watch out, keep your tents closed. Little inside shot there in the evening, so it's nice and safe, your gear. I do prefer that. So the next morning we got ready for the next part of our journey. Next up will be then the hell. I'll see you guys then in part 2. Thanks for watching.